What's up, moviegoers? It's Luke Rollins again, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be doing the Antebellum movie review, so let's get started. Successful author Veronica Henley finds herself trapped in a horrifying reality that forces her to confront the past, present, and future before it's too late. The directors of this movie are Gerard Bush and Christopher Renz. Okay guys, so I recently saw this movie about 2 or 3 days ago, and I gotta say guys, this movie was pretty damn entertaining. You know, after watching all these trailers, my first thoughts were, this is going to be so confusing. This is going to be one of those Christopher Nolan films or Jordan Peele films that you really have to focus on and watch it multiple times. But actually, after watching it the first time, I gotta say this movie was pretty basic and easy to follow on. It wasn't confusing. The story was pretty good. Though this movie does question if this is, present or, the future. So, the main character of this movie stars Janelle Monáe, starring as this very famous author who talks more about reality, the future, and the present. She talks to her audience about that, but obviously she has some people in the movie who disagree with what she says and eventually gets her into trouble, and then kidnaps her, and then she arrives at this, this plantation field where slaves work and pick cotton, and she questions to herself, throughout the film, is this real? Is this a dream? Or is this present and she's just been kidnapped? So she questions, and, I kind of questioned myself watching this movie, if this was even, real or if this was just a dream that she was having. Because, in the movie, eventually, the second half of the film, like I said, it starts to be present day, and she wakes up one morning, and I was like, okay, maybe this was just all like a dream or, something like that. But then, so she talks about to her audience, as a famous author, she says, we are the future and the present and all that stuff. And something I really found interesting in this movie, and something I actually loved about this movie, was this movie does question, you kind of question if this movie is, now present, or if this movie is in the future or the past. Because as you saw in the trailer, guys, you've seen, slaves working in the fields. Something that this movie does really good is it kind of hides some of the plot until the very end of the movie. So it kind of gets your interest starting from the beginning. Although one of my problems with this film is kind of split into, two halves. So we have Janelle Monáe starring, if you've seen the trailer, she looks like she's in like present day. She has a husband, she has a daughter, she's a successful author, a very famous successful author. And then we have the other half of the film, which is the beginning of the film, and we just see Janelle Monáe working as a slave. We don't know. I was kind of confused in this movie at the beginning. I was like, wait, so did they erase what they showed in the trailer? And I was like, okay, this is kind of confusing. But this movie is a little bit confusing in the beginning. You question if this is, even real, if this is in the past, or if this is even in the future. So, one of the things I really didn't, like about the film was that it was split into halves. We get, Janelle Monáe working as a slave in the beginning, and then they cut it And then in the middle of the film, we see her, in present day. She has the family. She's an author. And so I was kind of confused, watching the rest of the film. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so confusing. And then one of the things I did like about the film was when they finally revealed whether this was, present, past, or future, which I kind of found interesting and I kind of liked about this movie. Now, if I'm going to say, is this a horror film or not? The producers of Get Out and Us, they worked on this film. And I gotta say, guys, this isn't really a horror film. This isn't scary. This feels more of a historical film, kind of like the stuff you learned when you were a child in school about slavery, what they did, and it was kind of like something we've all seen or heard about or learned about. This isn't a scary movie, guys. This kind of feels kind of more of a psychological thriller. They kind of make it seem very scary and very confusing in the trailers. So don't get, confused. If you guys really aren't, a horror fan, don't be afraid to see this movie because it's not as scary as you guys think. But I gotta say, Janelle Monáe's character, starring as this really famous author in present day, does a really good job. I know Janelle Monáe starred in the movie Harriet. I think that's the only movie I've ever seen her in besides this movie. And I gotta say, her acting is really good in this movie. Now, the pacing of this movie can be a little bit difficult to watch if you guys don't have, a lot of patience in you, or if you do have patience. This movie is very, very slow in the beginning, but then, like I said, the other half of the film, present day, this movie speeds up. It starts to get very interesting. Now, guys, after seeing all the trailers for this movie, I kind of had, mixed feelings. I thought this movie was going to be more of like a, like a time travel movie, or, one of those movies that have to do with time. After seeing the trailer, you see Janelle Monáe like randomly pop up into this, field that slavery's were in, picking cotton and stuff. After seeing the trailers and all that, and then watching the movies, I don't think there was any time in this movie, like any time travel or, going back in time or forward in time. So don't get, confused about that. But I do like the route they went with this movie. Janelle Monáe being this, successful author, this famous author, talking about, the future and the past and all that. Guys, if I'm going to rate this movie, I'm going to give it 4 stars. This movie is entertaining, slow in the beginning. Janelle Monáe does a fantastic job getting into character with this successful author who eventually ends up, either being in the past or the future. And like I said, guys, this isn't really a horror film, but it's entertaining enough to get you through the whole film. And yeah. Alright, guys, well, if you liked that video, hit the like button. If you guys didn't like the video, hit the dislike button. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys, and have a good day.